I now hand the conference over to Mr. K. Lalpuria, Executive Director and CEO of Indocount Industries Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I hope you are all keeping safe and healthy. I hope everyone must have got a chance to look at the presentation and investor deck as well as the press release by now. Let me first explain the business scenario in Q1 FY21. The lockdown restriction placed on industries with a view to prevent spread of COVID-19 pandemic have impacted the operations of the company in Q1 FY21. Despite the conditions, the company could achieve sales volume of 9.9 million liters. With the gradual easing of lockdown, we were able to process both the order backlog as well as the current orders. We are witnessing month-on-month traction in demand from our customers. As we speak today, the operations have come back to pre-COVID levels. Considering the business momentum across our market and also the effect of pandemic has not waned, we are cautiously optimistic about this business during the rest of the financial year. Now, talking about the demand scenario, we believe that the situation is normalizing and people have adopted to the new norm culture. Brands are selling online or offering store pickup to ensure safety of customers. We therefore see traction in demand both in e-com trade and the brick and mortar business. We are also witnessing that for consumers, home is becoming a center stage due to the work from home culture as well as the social distancing. This is resulting in traction for demand from consumers and customers across. Now let me highlight the opportunity unveiling in our industry. China Plus One strategy. The brands are looking out for a second source in order to reduce dependency on a single geography. We believe the Indian home textile industry is in a sweet spot and likely to benefit due to abundant availability of raw materials and skilled manpower, along with our steady capability and capacity available for growth. Atmanirbhar Bharat. Along with the China Plus One strategy, our government is pushing for Make in India as well as Atmanirbhar Bharat programs. These all are expected to help domestic manufacturers. We believe that we are well prepared to seize this opportunity on the back of our healthy balance sheet, financial prudence, and our focus approach. We are making a lot of efforts on digital marketing, e-commerce, developing health and hygiene products, and other innovative ways to reach out to our customers and thereby strengthening our relationship with them. In the past, we have made investments in building our capabilities and capacity, and we expect these benefits to flow in the next few quarters. Now coming to the financial performance. Starting with the volumes, the company has achieved volume sales of 9.9 million liters for Q1 FY21. The volume performance was impacted on account of lower production owing to lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic during this period. Reported consolidated total income. For Q1 FY21, total income stood at rupees 336 crores as against rupees 518 crores for Q1 FY20. The income was impacted on account of lower production during the period owing to lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic. Reported consolidated EBITDA. EBITDA for Q1 FY21 stood at rupees 39 crores with an EBITDA margin of 11.6%. Performance could have been better. However, production and sales impact on account of lockdown due to COVID-19 impacted resulted in lower absorption of fixed costs in Q1 FY21. Reported profit after tax. Q1 FY21 PAT stood at rupees 18 crores. That's all from my side. I now leave the floor open for question and answer.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Ronak Vora from AUM Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
So, in case any volume guidance for the full year?
So currently the situation is evolving and still there are uncertainties around. And we are operating at say 85 to 90% of pre-COVID level. As informed earlier, the stores were closed, but now slowly they are opening up and majority of them have resumed operations.
So can we say that we'll witness growth in the second half?
July month has been good and we are witnessing month-on-month traction since the lockdown has eased. The momentum is continuing as I said earlier. The situation is that we have reached pre-COVID levels in terms of our quarterly run rate. Okay. So we feel that, going forward, the moment if nothing goes in an uncertainty mode, we will be doing our pre-COVID level rates.
Okay. So we can say around mota-moti we can for the full year annualizing the last year numbers of around 61. So we can say at least 30 million meters would be intact for the second quarter, and for the first quarter it should be around say 15. So around we can do 45 million ton on a worst come worst scenario, right?
No, see, we are not able to give guidance as such today because there is no clarity going forward. What we are reporting is that currently we are doing well. In this July month, we did well. And August also we are doing well. So the momentum is there. But we cannot give you a guidance as such today.
Okay, sir. No problem. But can we say anything on the EBITDA margin front? So we posted a very good EBITDA margin for the first quarter, at least 12% in lockdown period is pretty decent as of now. Can we say that we can go to the same run rates as we had last year? So last year first quarter say around 13-14% for the full year?
See, the margin may improve because of the utilization of the assets and capacity utilization. The fixed cost will be absorbed. And secondly, we have a favorable raw material instance, and also the exchange rates are a little bit positive on our side. So summing up, if the sales revenue increases and we are able to consume our capacity, definitely we will be able to improve our margin. So we can safely say that we can be in between somewhere 12 to 14% for this year.
Okay. And thirdly, can you comment on the loans? So has our gross debt number reduced in the first quarter? Have we repaid any loans?
Yes, our long-term debt has reduced from 56 to 50 crores. And our short-term debt has reduced from 293 to 226 crores. We have not gone for any moratorium. We have repaid our loans and interest on time. With cash equivalent of 205 crores, our net debt stands at 71 crores only.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Suresh Saraf from Motilal Oswal Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lalpuria.
Good afternoon.
I'm given to understand that the cotton prices have crashed, so that would have a very positive impact on your EBITDA and your profitability for the year.
See, the pre-COVID and post-COVID, the cotton consumption has reduced, and that's why we are carrying higher stocks. Secondly, the monsoons are good, and the sowing is also better than last year. So we expect a better crop. Having said that, we should witness the prices when the season comes up, say in November, December. That will be the right barometer. So we are waiting and watching. But however, the prices should be subdued because the stock to end use ratio should not be more than last year. So we expect the supply to meet the demand and the prices should be stable.
Okay. I have another question. I attended the investor call for some companies who are in the same business, and they are witnessing record performance in this current quarter. Is the same with you, and do you see the continuity?
As I mentioned, we are operating at 90% of our capacity at pre-COVID level, and we are also witnessing month-on-month traction as the situation is improving and easing out. So the momentum is there, and we are also at pre-COVID levels. So we hope the situation continues in similar position, and then we will be able to give you a better clarity, say, in our next call. But the momentum is there. The positive traction is there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Prerna Jhunjhunwala from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, wanted to understand the demand scenario in the US. You briefed to some extent, but just wanted to understand the back-to-school segment where you have which was one of the drivers for first quarter. But how is that demand panning out given the schools and colleges in US are also not operating at that optimal level?
We participate in all promotions, whether it is back to school, Black Friday or Christmas and all. So we do participate in back to school, and we are getting good numbers and the positive trends. So definitely that is positive for us as well, as the US retailers are also doing well. The big box retailers are doing well because they were all operational during the lockdown also, because they were selling essentials. And now, since majority of the stores have reopened and resumed operations, we expect all this promotion as well as the regular replenishment business to do well.
Okay. And please highlight on the product wise, if you could suggest how is utility bedding, fashion bedding, institutional bedding, bedsheet, how is the demand in these segments? Is there any better traction in some segment or lower traction in some segment that would help us understanding the demand situation there?
See, last year we did around 15% of combining all these three different channels of our product mix. So fashion and utility are doing well, but the institutional has a little bit of setback because the traveling and the cruise and liners and all those is not happening as such today. But these are compensated by increased distribution in e-commerce and other areas. So going forward, I think the situation improves. We will be doing better because China is a dominant supplier in fashion and utility bedding. And as we all know, that post-COVID, there is some sensitivity around replacing China to some extent in the long term by suppliers in these two categories. So definitely we may find some positive trend over there in the long term.
So what would be the size of these two segments, and what will be China's market share there?
China's current market share is around 80-85%, but India is only at around 7-8%. So definitely there is a room for growth in this categories. And definitely India is gearing up, making all the back-end production facilities for this product range. And slowly they are also gaining skill in this area. So the US retailers and the other retailers around the world are considering India as a second source. And definitely that's what looks promising, that in the future we will be able to gain some market share from China, which will be big enough to fill us.
Okay. And so do we need any additional capacity to set up for these products, because they are not really bed sheets per se, but they have like pillows, comforters, quilts and all this. So do we need any other different machines or mechanism, or are facilities equipped to handle the increased inflow of orders on these products?
So as reported earlier, you see, we have built capacities to service this categories, fashion bedding and utility bedding. And we have made arrangement to add on these machines in the past. And slowly, as we find traction and better volumes, we will continue adding that. So all different machines and production facilities are geared up. And since the fabric is a common use, and where we have enough capacity to service, we just have to add some features and fixtures to gear up our capacity. Basically, it's quilting machines and fabric wadding machines and all that. So that's not a big investment, but certainly the skill part as well as the space and other areas where we really need to gear up to big volumes.
Okay. So, your orders in the fourth quarter had got deferred due to COVID, or they got postponed. Will this 10 million volume that you did this quarter also have a portion of that supplies, or it's all fresh intake is what I would like to understand.
So see, post-COVID, these orders were deferred, by the customer, and they will be supplied across the whole 2-3 quarters. So definitely they will be supplied during this 2-3 quarters, because nothing much has got cancelled. Only the smaller players have cancelled because they could not leverage their finances.
Okay. Sir, last question would be on price negotiations. Are you witnessing any price negotiations because of declining cotton prices, or due to uncertain situation in the US, also due to COVID? So any price negotiations happening? I mean, directionally will also be fine. I don't want a number to that extent.
Not at the moment, but as and when it comes, we are ready for negotiation. As we are competitive, we produce a lot of cotton and the raw material is in our favor, the forex is in our favor. We have a good capacity to service them. So definitely we as a country are well positioned to compete.
Okay.
So as and when it comes, we will negotiate.
Okay. As of now, there is nothing on the table for negotiation.
As of now, there is nothing on the table.
And any change in the credit terms that they are demanding in terms of days or something?
Earlier they were demanding in pre-COVID level, but now I think they are slowly going back to their old terms, because as they are also improving their cash flows, so they are supporting the vendors. But we as a company have a good credit insurance policy in place. So we review each and every customer and then only we supply. So we have got that risk management in place.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I'll come back to the question queue.
Thanks.
If any further question.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mukul Agarwal from Param Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, I am fine.
Sir, my question is more on.
Mr. Agarwal, can you speak closer to the handset, please?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, little bit louder.
Sir, my question is more on the lines of structural shift which you are talking in your commentary also vis-a-vis one plus, China plus one. Like India market share is roughly 11% in home textile, China is 38-39. So going forward in next 3 to 5 years, do you think, do you see India can gain some substantial market share, and whether it will be sticky, and what will be the role of Indocount in such scenario?
See, certainly, because you see, India as a country is well positioned. India has the capacity and capability, and India is the largest cotton producer. India has an adequate, raw material supply chain as compared to China. India is the only country where who can compete both in MMS as well as cotton and natural fibers to China. So, and we are also competitively priced, and we have performed better over the period of last 2-3 decades in home textile. And the relationship is also good between the two countries, between say the US and the European Union as well as UK. And we feel that whatever dominant position which China has gained, all the customers are rethinking of their strategy, because earlier they went on to source out of China alone because of their voluminous play. But now they are thinking of, bringing India also on the map, as India is also quite capable and competitive. China is also focusing on the domestic front rather on the export as a strategy, and their cost has also gone up substantially. Plus the sensitivity post-COVID also is in our favor as a country. So we feel that, and India is well geared up to supply, and it has performed well and positioned well, particularly in our category where it has got 50% market share. So it has gained the share from China. So we feel that in other categories as well, like fashion bedding and utility bedding, in which India was not there on the map, in the future this also will grow in India, because India never went ahead to capture this market, because India was not competitive at that part of time, and neither we had focused. So I think our focus plus our gearing up of capacity plus our exposure to the front end and our positioning, all these factors will help India in order to gain this market share going forward. So that's what we believe in.
So, sir, by when do you feel we will see visible signs of this change happening on ground? Because we have been hearing this since very long, and COVID has definitely acted as a catalyst to this theme. But when would we see real, action on the ground?
See, as we had started this category 3-4 years back. You must be knowing that fashion bedding and utility bedding and institutional bedding, and we stayed focused on this bed linen sector. Because we hope that we will be able to gain traction in this going forward. And slowly we have reached to a level of 15% as reported last year. So I think slowly and steadily we are winning this market. But our synthetic prices are expensive by 30%. We are okay on the cotton side because we are competitive there. And many of these products are supplied in synthetic. Now, once we rationalize our duties here, and if India builds on certain FTAs, is able to gather some FTAs with these countries like the US and UK and Europe, I think India will be also well positioned as far as the other peers are concerned. So definitely, we will gain traction as we are focusing more and more on categories going forward. And certainly we will be able to, improve our numbers here. We are quite confident about it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's all from my side.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhavin Chheda from Enam Holdings. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Lal Puria ji. Good to hear
afternoon.
that business is recovering back to the pre-COVID levels or close to that. Just a few questions on particularly the US business, since that's the large part of the business for home textiles. So, so I think one question is, are you able to gauge that actually has the market share shifting from China to India, or just US demand has grown? Because I think if you see the Walmart numbers also, they reported positive sales, and I think the commentary was that since stimulus driven impact has been coming, so there has been buying, people were sitting at home, and so a lot of shopping happened. But I think that July is again subdued. So what's your sense you are getting from clients? Was it a pent-up demand, or since everyone got stimulus, was it driven? And again, just continuation of this part, how is the order book visibility? Because as I know, earlier 2-3 years back, there were normally 2 programs in US, and each of the players used to get a 6 months visibility. So how is the situation right now? You get 2 months visibility, 4 months visibility, 6 months visibility. How is the visibility of the business? Yeah.
See, first of all, on the US market side, we all know that US is a large market for our category, and we are exporting 70% over there. And all the big box retailers have done well because they were selling essentials. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, the markets are resuming, and a majority of the stores have resumed their operations. So that is the first step. We should assess that, that they are coming back to normal. Now, whichever stores had issues with their financials, which were a couple of them, so they faced difficulty. The rest of them has resumed their operations, and they are doing pretty well because of this stimulus also, and because of the confidence, and also, as I mentioned earlier, the home has become the center stage now, because work from home culture and social distancing and all that has promoted the home products in a good way. And we find positive traction over there, both in promotional item as well as the replenishment items. At Indocount, we are doing replenishment items more than the promotions, which we have already indicated earlier. So we are getting traction when the regular programs are all being reordered at present. Of course, they need to come back to 100%, but they have certainly come back to 90-95%. And certainly the US market will do well because the consumption of the home has increased. These numbers which you are seeing in retail do not just provide the right numbers for home, they provide for all the categories together. So what you assess is that it has tapered down because of all the categories taking together. So we feel that, the US market will do well as compared to the European market and the UK market, and certainly there will be traction of reorders. Now, we also mentioned that we are working at 90% of our capacity, and we are in made to order business. So certainly we are seeing traction, positive traction, as the lockdowns are eased down. And this momentum should continue. But, we are unable to give guidance because of the uncertainties around. But still, we hope and we believe that things should improvise from here going forward. So that's what our take on the US market is.
And so one thing, as I said, the order visibility normally is 3-4 months?
So certainly we have projections for 3-4 months. The orders are, firmed up only for, say, 30 to 60 days. But we have, because the programs are running continuously and they are all backwall programs, certainly we have a visibility as they will not be going out of their shelf. So, either they sell it through brick and mortar, or they sell it online, or they sell it buy online and pick up in the stores. So it will happen. So that's what we believe in. So I think the orders which are continuous and replenishable are being serviced by us, and we are seeing a momentum there.
Last question on the domestic export benefits like ROSTCL, duty drawback, and other schemes. What has been the outstanding receivables from government as of now? What's the absolute figure? And on a continuous basis, with how many days lag you have been receiving this number?
See, pre-March level, it was pretty clear except for ROSL, which I think the government has issued a notification just recently, and we will be getting that amounts to around 6 crores. And pre-March level ROSCTL we received in full. Now post-March level, I think because of the COVID situation and the government is finding challenges on the fund side, I think they are discussing on how to disburse that amount. So our council is taking up this appropriately with the government to disburse this, and we hope that we should be able to get this in the next couple of months. So that is about ROSCTL. The drawback is all online. So drawback, there is no...
Any June 30 outstanding number you would like to provide?
That we can provide you offline if you want.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sagar Parekh from One Up Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you for taking my question. I think you mentioned correct me if I'm wrong, you mentioned that our market share in the fashion and utility bedding segment is about 7% versus 80-85% for China. Is that the right number?
Yes, that we believe that.
Okay, so how big is this market in US right now? So let's say that we have 50% market share on the overall, this segment. How big would this fashion and utility bedding would be out of that?
See, the total fashion, utility and institutional bedding is around 10 billion at retail. So at cost, it should be around 5 billion.
For cost, it should be 5 billion. Okay.
Yeah.
So that 5 billion market is up for grabs, is what you are saying for us, basically. Are we seeing that traction already, like from the retailers over there?
See, we started this category 3-4 years back, and we are building both the back end and the front end. It takes time to capitalize on this.
Right.
So definitely it's a positive trend, and as I mentioned earlier, synthetic in India is expensive to China,
right,
still by another 20-25%.
Right.
And most of these products are synthetic based. So I think in time to come, if government recognizes the fact that it should rationalize the duty and reduce it to the levels of China, then definitely we will be at level playing field. And then we will be able to garner this. But still, we are able to get support in the premium segment and the higher segment product range, because we are not going in the lower end of this supply chain. So we find that it is because the retailers and the consumers all are now sensitive about Chinese supply. We feel that long term we should benefit somewhere from this.
So in spite of 20% pricing differential between China, you still feel that we will benefit out of that? Or the duty structure can come down?
High end, the premium segment, which is cotton based, India is competitive. But slowly it is getting a traction. Because we also need to gear up the back end.
Right.
And plus we have a business to cater to sheet set. Our priorities are sheet set, where we are, getting a good traction. So that becomes our priority.
Right. Great, sir. That's it from my side, and all the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Yogan Jeswani from Mithil Analytics. Analytics. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So my question is regarding the export incentives that we are getting at the moment. So there has been a lot of changes, and you did mention to an earlier participant about the ROSCTL that's pending post-March. So just to get a broad sense of what all incentives are we getting, and can you share that breakup with us, please?
See, currently we are getting 2.6% of drawback and 8.2% of ROSCTL.
8.2.
2.
Okay.
And the government has declared that this will continue till December this year, and this will be replaced by RODTEP, which is the new scheme for which a committee has already been formed, and our council is already addressing that with this committee. So ROSCTL will get replaced by RODTEP, the new scheme.
Right. And sir, earlier there was a lot of confusion and sudden stoppage of MEIS by the government. So, and we had also taken a write-off on the same. So going forward, any further write-off that you expect from MEIS, or do you see some bit of it getting released? Because there's still a lot of confusion. I think 9,000 odd crore was budgeted, and then it got reduced to some 500 odd crore for MEIS. So is there anything that is due on the MEIS front for us?
No, MEIS has been withdrawn for our category of product. So we are not impacted by any MEIS change as such so far. So the government is planning to convert now the entire MEIS and the ROSCTL to RODTEP. So we are not going to get any impacted on MEIS front as such.
And no more MEIS benefits that are booked, which needs to be reversed or something like that?
No. That we have already written off as an exceptional item last year.
Last year, yes.
Yeah.
Understood. Perfect. That's it from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Nirmal Shah from Seraphic. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to check, is there some impact on the RODTEP incentive regime as well? Because there are various media reports which are talking about a significant cut in the budget of RODTEP benefits. So right now you are governed by ROSCTL, but I suppose there is a talk of curtailing the incentives. Would you like to give your perspective?
No, as such, we do not hear anything because we have just heard that the committee has been formed which is communicating with our council, export council, and they are gathering data at present. So they have across different product range, different meetings with all councils and different industry to, really consider what is their central and state level, and then only they will come out with their plan. So we as a company have not heard any definitive, things. People may say anything, but we haven't heard anything about that, sir. What we have heard is only from our council that they are still working on the data to be provided to this committee.
But sir, looking at the way government finances are right now, do you foresee some kind of a possibility, because even last year the withdrawal of MEIS became retrospective, no one expected, and in a situation like COVID, the situation is supposed to be far more, pretty nervous situation for a government to fulfill even the regular cash flow items, right? So you don't see any risk to that currently?
We cannot say definitely what the government thinks, but definitely textile is a priority sector to them. And government has given, our Prime Minister has given a message about Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India both. And we qualify for both. So definitely they will consider favorably. Let's wait and watch and see what they do, because we cannot be, saying anything for the government, on behalf of the government. We cannot predict anything because it's their policy decision. But I think textile is an important sector where there is a lot of employment generation. So government will definitely consider, textile as one of the priority sector. So that much we know.
So there was also a talk of textile as an industry going to the Supreme Court about the MEIS withdrawal, the way they withdraw retrospectively. Any update you have? Are you all planning to go back to the court to fight the case?
No, as such, we do not have. We also heard those rumors that the Apparel Export Council is taking necessary steps to, file some petition. But those are all talks which come in the media. So we really need to believe when it happens, as a company.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sumit Modi from Arid Investment. Please go ahead.
So thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Sir, I heard you saying, or rather refraining from giving any volume guidance for the current year. But however, in one of the slides of the presentation, you mentioned that you see growth for the remaining part of the year. So on one side, you are seeing growth on the remaining 9 months, but then not looking to give any guidance. But then, do you see some sort of equal volume of last year that can be doable? That's one question. And secondly, we are among the lowest among the peers in terms of the balance sheet leverage. So, in all probabilities, given the completion of FY21, we mostly will be debt free. So, any plans to add any new segment or any capex plan, or how do you wish to use the cash flows in the future?
See, first of all, I have already mentioned that we are witnessing month-on-month traction. And as the lockdown is eased, and majority of our customers have resumed operation. I have already mentioned that. But what the situation today is quite fluid and evolving. And that's why we are saying that we are cautiously optimistic as well. So we are positive on the trends, and the momentum is also there. But we cannot give a definitive number as a guidance, because there are so much uncertainties around, both in the marketplace as well as in India as well. So nobody can give like a definitive number to this. As and when we get more clarity, we will certainly be happier to give. Say maybe in the next quarter when we will be able to, provide you. We are much more happier to provide you with those numbers. So definitely that answers your first question. And secondly, about the capex part, see, we are studying all options as a company, but we should get into a business where the returns are adequate. We do not want to get into a capital intensive project which are not returning our profit. So we are taking adequate steps into understanding different businesses in textiles as well as in other businesses, and our board will appropriately take steps in allocating this capital in the near future. Definitely, we are also thinking about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aman Sontalia from AK Securities. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question is that what is our current share in the cotton fitting, sir?
Come again, I could not hear you.
What is our India's share in cotton fitting?
In cotton?
Sorry,
you are not audible fully. Can you speak closer to the mic, please?
So, what is India's position in cotton bedsheet?
We are currently at around 50% market share in the US for market share, India's market share, and that is.
And sir, we are balanced 50%. Which countries are they?
See, China is there, Pakistan is there, and then the rest of the world is there. But
And how big China is in cotton seed, sir?
China is around 21%.
Okay. So there is every possibility that we may get some market share from there also, in cotton seed also.
Yes, definitely. Because, India is competitive and India has performed well, and people perceive India as a good supplier, and we have a good relationship, as I mentioned, with the country. So definitely, the retailers and the consumers across there, the customers will think about India for increasing their share.
And sir, my second question is what the coal cost has come down a lot, and I think fuel is a big component of our total cost. So how that is going to benefit us, sir?
So actually, you are not audible. It's very like low voice. I am able to get across. So
The coal cost, fuel cost has come down a lot.
Yeah.
So how big that component is in our total cost, and how the company is going to benefit out of it?
See, coal utility cost entirely is around 3.5% to 4% of our total sales cost. And definitely, if any improvement in coal or any other fuel will certainly help the country in reducing cost. As I mentioned, we have reviewed all our cost centers and are going in for cost optimization. So definitely this reduction in cost as well as better utilization of capital will reduce overall cost.
So sir, we are using domestic coal or we are using Australian coal?
We are using imported coal, Indonesian coal, as well as sometimes some other countries' coal as well. Domestic coal we are not using.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Ridhima Chandak from Roha Asset Managers. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Just one clarification. You said that India's market share in the cotton sheet in US is 50%. So that is at the company level, or this is at the industry level?
At the industry level, India's total share.
Okay, so India is exporting cotton sheets that is of approx 50% of total market, and China is at 21%.
Yes.
So in that 50%, what is our market share?
Around 12%.
Okay, around 12%. And China?
So I didn't get you. If you are asking Indocount's share in that.
Yeah. So Indocount share in that 50%.
12%. So China, I already told you, as a country they have 21%.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
With good customer base, capital adequacy, wider geographic distribution, and extensive sectoral understanding of products and product development, as well as relatively under-leveraged balance sheet, we are all well prepared to quickly adapt to the changing customer ecosystem. With this, I would like to thank everyone for joining on the call. I hope we have been able to address all your queries. For any further information, kindly get in touch with me or Strategic Growth Advisor, our Investor Relation Advisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Indocount Industries, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.